we're not going to go as long as we went last week. So we're going to open it up right now. Front row, Tim May on 3, the Tim May Show.
Thanks, Jerry. Ryan, you had to like that the last half of the second quarter. Yeah. I mean, everything just kind of came together offensively and defensively, the explosion. I mean, just what's your take on that? And did you see something about this team that you wanted to see tonight?
Yeah, we needed to take the next step. We know what we're about to jump into here in the middle of the season. We know we have to go on the road next week. And, I mean, that was a good week of work right there now. It started Sunday. Tuesday was a really physical day. Wednesday was a great day. Thursday we kept going at them. I mean, it was all week because we knew we had to turn this up, and we need to build some momentum going into next week. So I think you saw our team play like that today, and that's what it's got to be moving forward.
Over here to the left, Rob Allard, the Dispatch, and then give it to Cam.
Ryan, when you have a game like this, everything seems to be clicking, working. Is it hard to nitpick the next day to really find anything, or is that where you go, the things that you have to still work on?
Yeah, no, what we have to do is we have to find those plays that we know in a matchup game can cost us, because we know it can come down to one play. But what we wanted to do in this game is, and we knew it wasn't going to be perfect, we wanted to play really, really hard, really super competitive, a lot of energy, a lot of passion, a lot of people running around. We got that done, but that's the way we're going to have to play moving forward. I think that we knew it was going to be a wide open game. They were going to make some plays, but I thought our defense overall didn't flinch. They hung in there. They hung in there on the fourth downs, and that was good. And then you saw some guys make some plays. You saw Kyle respond after the turnover. That was big, because that's one of those things you want to watch in a quarterback, is how they're going to respond. Are they going to go into their shell or just keep pushing forward? And he was aggressive on the big touchdown. And then we were able to flip the scoreboard there. I guess we had maybe 35 points there. And then also the 2-minute drill. I thought about taking a knee, but I said, no, we need to find out what he can do in a 2-minute drill. And he pushed it down the field, and it was good to see that, because that's going to be something we're going to have to do, to win games. He also did it in the Indiana game at the end of the first half as well. So good signs there.
Over here to the right, Bill Rabinowitz, Columbus Dispatch, and then to Clay.
You mentioned the defense, and the defense only gave up 10 points the first 2 games, but they didn't face an offense like this one.
Right.
What did you like about it? I assume the turnovers, the havoc that was created, that kind of stuff?
Yeah. Obviously, in the second half, the turnovers were huge. I thought they hung in there when they were getting the stops in the end of the first half and getting the ball back to the offense. They kind of fed off of that, and we had some really good momentum going there. Good passion, bunch of guys playing fast, violent. There was some really good collisions going on. There was a really good hit by Lathan. He got I don't know if that was a fourth down stopper, but that was. That's what we're looking for. Guys flying sideline to sideline and getting their hands on balls in the secondary. That quarterback's very good. He'll rip it and challenge us. So we'll get on the film and figure out the areas we got to get better at.
Over here to the left, Cameron Teague Robinson, the Athletic, then to Nathan.
Ryan, last week you mentioned trying to balance efficiency with being explosive on offense.
Yeah.
Obviously, they cut it to 14-10. Then you got the big touchdown, got to stop, and then got another touchdown on the next play. How does that impact the team when it's a close game? They pop 2 big runs, and then, like you said, you're efficient on the 2-minute drill as well.
Yeah, I mean, they play off of each other, and when we're running the ball the way we were today, that makes it a lot easier, and that was big. It was big to get some explosive runs. It was good to move the line of scrimmage. We converted on some third downs, much better. Wasn't perfect again. We'll keep working at it, but there was some really good things there. I thought the 3rd and 10 was good. Where we picked it up in protection, and Kyle found Marvin on the drag for, I think it was at 3rd and 10. That was big. We did much better in short yardage. So those are all things that we're going to have to do, to stay efficient. But when we're staying efficient in the run game, that allows us to be more aggressive throwing the ball.
Over here to the right, Clay Hall, WSYX, and then to Lori.
Some defensive scores. Could you describe the tie leak technique on that dive?
Yeah, Mick said he looked like he was burrowing for like a dog looking for a bone in the ground. He just kind of went through and kind of found it, and it was great. But it's funny, we do talk about that, how when you get into those piles, that ball could be anywhere. And so you got to get in there and see if you can be the first guy to get it, and that was great. I mean, I was a little disappointed Steele wasn't able to pick that one up and scoop it, but nobody's more disappointed than him, I'm sure. But great effort, by Denzel coming up and knocking that one out, and then I also think that there was a great play by Steele. I think it was one of the third downs where it was pitched and he came to the edge and showed up in a big way. I thought that kind of ignited our defense a little bit too. I mean, it was well executed. I think, Tommy did a really good job of communicating it, and Steele was right there. And that's what we're talking about with our linebacker play, is playing fast and downhill and being decisive.
Okay, hey, folks, the people on the tables there, if you can clean the tables off, I'm going to get a couple defensive players back there right now. We're going to go ahead and start them while Coach is still going here. And the back table, if you guys could just pull that back about 3 more feet, I'd appreciate it. We're going to send Steele Chambers and Jordan Hancock to the back for anybody that wants to start talking with them. Thank you, gentlemen. Okay, we're going to go back over here to the left, Nathan Baird with Cleveland.com, and then to Dan.
Brian, there were some pretty exuberant celebrations from some of your offensive linemen early in this game on those third down conversions. I know you haven't had a full film review yet, obviously, but did you, in general, see what you wanted to see from the next step from that offensive line group?
I like the emotion that we saw, for sure. We'll look at the film and see what we got, but that, they were challenged. A lot of guys on our team were challenged this week, and it was good to see them respond. I think you could see how fired up they were after some of those drives where they felt like they were getting some movement, and that's what we need out of our offensive line.
And, folks, we also have Emeka Abuka at the back. Over here to the right, Lori Schmidt, Columbus Dispatch, and then to Dylan.
Ryan, just what was the biggest difference in this game to the previous 2?
I just think that the style of the game allowed us an opportunity to kind of, go play and compete. But make no mistake about it. I mean, we were turning it up this week. We know what we're about to get into. We wanted to build momentum going into next week. And everything was turned up in a big way. So we got to get back to work. Notre Dame starts now. Usually we started on Sunday. We're starting to prepare tonight.
Over here to the left, Dan Hope, 11 Warriors.
Yeah, Ryan, you mentioned taking that next step. You said that at Skull Session before a game. Yeah. What was it that gave you the confidence that this kind of performance was coming today?
What went on this week in practice? We had a few people come to practice, and boy, they said, man, that was as physical of practice I've seen in a long time. The guys responded. We talked about it on Tuesday. We needed to do it. Well, actually, we talked about it on Sunday. And then we have a team meeting before practice on Tuesday, and we laid out what needs to be done this week. And these guys like to get challenged, and we pushed them hard this week. So that was a good sign that they responded.
Over here to the right, Dylan Davis, Delaware Gazette.
Ryan, our one-play drives, your response to the clock rules? Is that your response to the clock rules, just
right.
one-play drives?
Yeah. That certainly makes things a lot easier, yes.
With Kyle, did you notice anything different this week, just with him being the unquestioned leader of the offense? It's just his poise and something that maybe you saw that he just got it, that he's the guy now? Did you notice anything?
He had his best week of practice. Whether that was, coincidental or not, I don't know. And you'll have to ask him that. But he did have his best week of practice.
Over to the left, Joe Nugent, WCMH.
You mentioned Kyle's response to that strip sack. It was 5 touchdowns after that. Did you see anything from him on the sideline, or did you have any sense that that was coming?
He's poised. He doesn't really ride the roller coaster, and I think that's one of his strengths. And at that point, I just kind of stayed away and asked him what he saw and let him know what I saw. Didn't get upset, just said, all right, we got to come back and go play now. We got a long game ahead of us, and was interested to see how he'd respond. I wasn't going to be conservative at that point. I wanted to really push the envelope because, we have to turn it up, based on where we're going. And so he responded, and it was good. He wasn't phased, and that's important because there's going to be plays that don't go exactly the way we designed them, and there's going to be tough moments, and we're going to have to respond, and that's what being competitively tough is all about.
Okay, we have time for just 3 more questions for Coach Day. Over here to the right, Stephen Means, Cleveland.com.
Brian, given the teams you played the first 2 weeks, you guys had all been emphasizing there wasn't a chance to get much of a pass rush. First 2 weeks, maybe that was a little bit more presented today. What did you like about what you saw from the defensive line?
Yeah, I thought there was a point where they really, put their hands in the dirt and started coming hard. I thought, they were into it. I liked their, the competitiveness. I think they're going to watch it and see some things that they even can, improve on. He does get the ball out quick too. He wasn't like he was hanging on to the ball a lot, so the ball was coming out quick. But there was a lot of things there to go on and a lot to learn from. But just their overall attitude was really good. I mean, they were into it. They were, I felt them out there today, which is a good sign.
All right, 2 and done. Rob Aller, Columbus Dispatch.
Along those same lines, how do you deal with your DNs? This guy got it out so fast, this quarterback. Yeah. I don't think there are any sacks by the DEs. I mean, are they getting down about that, or you just have to kind of keep them pretty buoyant, or the dynamic of this game? How does that play out?
No, you watch the film and you try to figure out, what is real and what isn't. But they're anxious. They want to get it more than anybody. And what you can't do is then abort your your technique or anything like that. You have to make sure that you're continuing to do what you do, because it'll happen. There'll be plenty of opportunities for that.
And final, sorry.
No, and just that. I think that there'll be a lot to learn from here, because we haven't really played against a team that maybe throws as much as we've seen, previously. So we'll get on the film and figure it out. But I think the week of work that they had will be important to replicate this week going into Notre Dame.
And final question, Joey Kaufman, Columbus Dispatch.
Ryan, what kind of led to the strip sack? What was kind of the issue underlying that?
Well, I think if we'll watch it on film, I got to see it on film to be sure. The safety was real low, and I think that maybe Kyle, didn't have a great feel for the angle that maybe Marvin was coming out at, and so didn't let it go. And then once that happened, when you get to the second part of your read, there's bodies down there, because I always say if number one's open, and you don't throw it, 2 and 3 won't be open because of the way the zones work. And so we just got to clean up just the angle, because that was really what it came down to. Marv kind of inside released, and he didn't quite see the angle. And then when the sack happened, we need to just third hand that and protect it, because we can still live with 2nd and 15. We can respond to that. But obviously the fumble is something that we got to learn from. But again, I was just impressed with how he responded from that point on.
Great, Coach. Thank you very much.
Thanks, guys.
All right, folks, we're going to open up the floor for Kyle McCord at the front podium. Thank you, Kyle. Kyle, we're going to open it up over here to the right. Spencer Holbrook, Letterman Row.
Kyle, after the strip sack, you throw a touchdown pass. How much better, I guess, to go from that moment to the touchdown pass, how does a quarterback like you respond to that? And how did you feel you responded to it?
Yeah, I thought I responded well. The strip sack was my fault. It felt like they brought pressure, and the O-line did a good job of giving me enough time. I just got to make better decisions. And so I think after that we responded well. I thought the guys around me, just lifted me up and, told me that, we just got to keep going, keep pressing. And I thought we did that. Obviously, followed up and, put some points up on the board, so that was good. It was a good way to respond.
Over here to the left, Justin Holbrook, WCMH, and then to Nathan.
Kyle, what do you think a game like this, not just for yourself, but the whole offense does for this big test coming up next week against Notre Dame? Obviously a different team, but how do you guys feel going into that game, biggest of the season so far?
Yeah, I think this was probably our most complete game as an offense, and just trying to continue to take strides, and felt like we ran the ball really well. I feel like we had success passing the ball, and so it's definitely a good confidence boost going into obviously a big test next week. So it's just all about how can we take that step from week 3 to week 4 and continue to get better.
Over to the right, Dylan Davis, Delaware Gazette.
Ryan said you had your best week of practice this week, whether that was coincidental or not. He didn't know. Did you feel different at all this week in your preparation, knowing that you're the unquestioned leader of this offense? Was there maybe something taken off of your shoulders so you could just kind of relax and play football?
I think it's definitely nice getting the official nod from him, but at the same time, the more experience I can get, the more opportunity, the more reps, the better I feel like I'll be. So I just kind of had that mind state going into practice week and attacking it like a game every single day. And I feel like we had a really good week of offense, or a really good week of practice and offense, and I think that showed today.
Over to the left, Nathan Baird, Cleveland.com.
I guess similar to that, but how was this week different for you getting all the, number one reps? Did it build in a different way for you this week, and did that help you come into today in a different approach?
Yeah, I think it does help when you have understanding of kind of how the game's going to go, that you're going to be getting all the reps, and you're going with the ones, and you really don't have to, try to think about what's going to happen, if you don't put together a drive or anything like that. And then I think this week kind of used that confidence boost a little bit, and, just trusted my rules, trusted my reads, trusted my eyes, and I think good things happen. So just continuing on that for next week.
Okay, and we've got Denzel Burke here. I'm going to put him at the back left table. Denzel, if you don't mind, just go up the side wall there and then to the left. Then over here to the right, Jeremy Birmingham, Letterman Row.
Hey, Kyle, for you, obviously the fumble is one play that's going to stick in your craw a little bit. What do you learn from that? How are you able to quickly move on from it? And what do you take out of it and say, that's what I need to do better at this?
Yeah.
Obviously, you haven't watched film. There's all that other stuff.
Yeah. I think in the moment and when you're in the game, I think the biggest thing is just to have that one play, kind of next play mentality, and kind of brush it clean and forget about it and focus on the next drive. But now going back and watch the film and obviously have to grow from that, have to learn from that, because the defense did a really good job getting. I think that was a 4th down stop, getting the ball at midfield, and an offense we didn't score, and it's my fault. So I think that's one thing that we have to grow upon, or I have to grow upon, and just figure out how can we eliminate plays like that.
Over to the left, Dan Hope, 11 Warriors.
Coach Day said that there was, a different level of intensity in practice this week. What do you think it was that you guys felt as a team that kind of sparked that for you guys to take it to another level this week?
Yeah, I know as an offense we felt like there were times where we looked really good, I think in week 1 and week 2, and then there were times where we kind of spun our tires, and we knew if we went out and we could put together a complete game, like it would look really, really good. If we were able to run the ball well, if we were able to pass the ball well, we would be one of the best offenses, if not the best offense in America. And so I think, we realized that the level of preparation, I think, at practice maybe wasn't at the point where it needed to be early on in the season. And I think, Coach Day really harped on that, and the guys responded for sure. I think we had a really good week of practice, and that showed today.
Over here to the right, Joey Kaufman, Columbus Dispatch.
Kyle, can you walk us through a little bit what you were seeing before that strip sack happened?
Yeah, so obviously we had a play-action pass called, and they bring a lot of pressure. They bring a lot of different looks. I saw that they brought pressure kind of as I snapped the ball, and I had a little bit of an idea pre-snap, too, of what they were going to do. And just didn't see it clean, just need to get the ball out of my hands. And I think the line, from what it felt like, they did a really good job of giving me time. And I think they brought one more than we could handle. And I think there's a lot of one-on-one blocks, and so I had more than enough time to make a play. And so I think I just have to realize the play we're in and what the defense is doing, and just make a quicker decision. And obviously we'd like to get the ball out, but if that's taking a sack, I think Coach Day talked about it, kind of third head in it and avoiding that, because 2nd and 15, obviously it's not ideal, but it's better than a turnover.
Over to the left, Cameron Teague Robinson, The Athletic.
Kyle, that fumble was the only time you guys didn't score in that first half. The first couple drives were really efficient. Next couple drives after the fumble were big plays. How do you, when you're efficient early like that, how does that open things up to be explosive? And do you feel like this offense is becoming more and more efficient as you guys go on?
Yeah, I thought the biggest thing today was we ran the ball very well. And anytime you run the ball well, I thought, we did a good job running it, in between the tackles, and then we did a good job kind of getting it out on the perimeter. And I think that stretches the defense and opens up shots to take down the field like we did to Marvin, opens up the drop back pass because they really don't know what to expect. So anytime I think we can really get the run game going, which I thought we did a tremendous job of that today, it opens up the entire offense. So I think that's a credit to the O-line and the running backs today.
We're at 2 and done time. Over here to the right, Bill Rabinowitz, Columbus Dispatch.
As you said, the offense spun its tires at times the first 2 weeks. How important was it, especially with Notre Dame coming up, that you had a game like this where you felt confident in running the offense and everything clicked?
Yeah, I think, like I said, I think we spun our tires at times, and we go out to practice and have some really good days, and then maybe that wouldn't always translate to the game at times. Like I said, I think we look really good, and then there were times where I felt like we left money on the field. So having a game like this, I think, will give all the guys a little boost of confidence going into the game next week. And I think the biggest thing is just continuing to ramp up that intensity in practice, because we know what it's going to be next week in South Bend against a really good team and in a tough environment. So we're just going to have to ramp it up and continue on this kind of trajectory that we're on right now.
Over here, Clay Hall, WSYX.
Coming up here, Kyle, I heard a number, fans, red coats, whatever, a lot of them saying the same thing. Now we're ready for Notre Dame. Do you have that little buzz, too, about how well this went today and maybe an incremental gain and ready to take them on?
Yeah, I mean, anytime you can get the offense and the defense going like that, that's a huge confidence boost. And I think the biggest thing now is using it, but understanding it's a different team we're going against. They got a lot of really good players, are well coached. It's going to be a away game in a tough environment. So it's like, obviously, we came out here today, handled our business, but it's going to take even more next week. So I think everybody's going to be, kind of on a little bit of an edge this week, which is good.
Over to the right, Austin Ward, the podcast, Rivals.
Kyle, I know even in the opener you were talking about, being a leader and, trying to establish that for this new offense. Is there anything about when the title officially changed that you did differently? Like you are the starter. I have to do this. I have to say this. Or was it completely the same for you today as it was 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, I think that's definitely a little bit of a confidence boost. Like I said, when he gives you the official nod that you're the guy, whether it was subconscious or not, I really didn't think of it that way, but I felt just a little more confident, I would say. And, that could be him naming me the starter. I think that could be just the more reps and experience and, plays I get under my belt. But whatever it is, I felt like I took a step in the right direction, but just have to continue to be on my P's and Q's during the week, continue to prepare, and obviously we have a big one on Saturday, so continuing to get better for that.
And final question, Tim May, the Tim May Show, and On 3.
Yeah, thank you, Jerry. Kyle, what was it like to be driving that car, so to speak, the last 8 minutes of the second quarter, with you guys scoring the way you did, et cetera? What did that feel like? Is that something you wanted to feel coming out of this game, that kind of explosion?
Yeah.
And what does it do for you guys headed forward? Obviously your biggest test of the year so far.
Yeah, I think my job as the quarterback for this team is just all about how can I keep us on schedule and get the ball to our playmakers. And I think that we did a really good job of that today. It felt like the O-line, the running backs did a really good job on first and second down to run the ball, getting us positive plays to start the drive off. And anytime we can get rolling like that, it's a huge boost to the offense. And, we can play in front of the chains. We can take shots down the field and just opens up the entire playbook. And then obviously the receivers, I don't really have to say too much about them. Anytime you can get the ball in their hands, regardless of where they are, good things are going to happen. So I think it's just a combination of those things kind of all come together. And, I feel like it was about time that we really kind of fired on all cylinders.
Yeah, it's a showcase game coming, obviously, prime time, et cetera. What do you feel? What's your feeling about this team headed toward that?
Yeah, obviously, I'm going to get it on the film tomorrow and watch those guys, but they're ranked top 10 for a reason. We played them last year. They played us really tough. I think we only scored 21 points last year against them, and I'm sure they're improved on defense. So it's going to be a good matchup, prime time, and that's one of the reasons why you come to a school like Ohio State to play in games like that.
Kyle, congratulations, and thank you for your time.
Thank you. Appreciate it.